I really want to start this video off. Dearest gentle reader. But, hello, Maddie here. If y'all recognize that sound clip, I'm not talking about Bridgerton, but I am talking about a book that has Bridgerton vibes based on this season specifically. And it's just the thing I feel I need in my life at the moment. So today we're talking about a short story called Darcy Cinderella by Bella Breen. This book says, it's a short story. It is a total of 210 pages. You could read that in approximately 2.5 hours. Just saying, that's a movie. I mean, it's a long movie, but that's a movie. So the synopsis is Mr. Darcy too late? While Mr. Darcy rushes to London to help Lydia avoid ruination, the unexpected death of their father throws Elizabeth Bennet's future into doubt. Elizabeth accepts the first position as a governess she can find, with the Countess of Bremont and her ward, Madeline. Spelled the French way that I love. The Countess is crueler than she could have imagined, and Elizabeth finds herself a virtual prisoner alongside Madeline. Elizabeth must devise a plan to free herself and her young friend from the Countess's schemes. Mr. Darcy searches for Elizabeth with the only information he has, her name and her position. Will he find Elizabeth before the Countess separates them forever? If you've been watching Bridgerton, so the second half of season 4 just came out last week. Probably binge watched it the way that I totally binge watched it. But the kind of trope of this season is Cinderella. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty good Cinderella theme. So like they meet at a ball. She's a servant. He's obviously a Bridgerton who are super high status. And then he can't find her because she moves to the countryside because she gets kicked out of her family home and all this fun stuff. And now it's a very long story. But anyways, it's Cinderella and that's exactly how I would describe this book. It's Pride and Prejudice and Cinderella and, because it's not a strict Pride and Prejudice, nor is it a strict Cinderella, but it has some of both. And the sentence, the phrase that's just coming to my mind when I picked up this book was, it's the crossover we didn't know we needed. Because sometimes life is a lot. And sometimes you need Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth. And sometimes you just need Cinderella and her glass slipper and a masquerade or whatever. And sometimes you don't have the time to read an entire normal sized novel. Sometimes you need all those things. And does that book exist? Yes. Yes, it does. And so I just want to recommend this book because it's got it checks all the boxes. It's so good. You get a happy ending. It's got the Maddie guarantee. Are we shocked? No, we shouldn't be shocked. I don't know. I just feel like life is kind of chaotic. I've been struggling a lot with finding purpose in my day to day. I've been struggling a lot with finding purpose and like satisfaction out of a lot of things. I have all these things in my life that are really great, really wonderful, and give the appearance of fulfillment. But I don't know. I've just been really struggling to like tap into that. And one of the things that's been helping me a lot has been reading. And I know that I think a good amount of readers would agree. At least the readers that read the same thing as me would definitely agree that reading is an escape. It's the reason my books always have happy endings. It's why I don't like reading stuff that could in any way resemble reality. I like fantasy or like, made up cities and made up countries, even if it's like our planet. But if it's like a country that doesn't exist or a city that doesn't exist, like a thing that doesn't exist, then I can very much just categorize it. The books that are purely fiction but could easily happen in the real world, I struggle with those more. Unless they're like, if they're like super like Hallmarky, then whatever. But like they're just some books that's like they're really good, but like there's some tragedies that happen in them. And I'm like, that has actually happened. Like the names of the people that it happened to were different, but like we could look this up and there would be a story that would identically match what you have written. And I hate that. And I can't handle that. So sometimes I just need to escape into, I don't know if you'd call Pride and Prejudice a fairy tale, because it's not really. But it's a classic romance story. And Cinderella is like the epitome of all fairy tales. Did the person or wherever it originated from ever know that it was going to become what it is? I'm sure they didn't. But Cinderella is so ingrained into our society that it shows itself in so many different ways. And I'm here for it. I love it. I'm a big fan. I have no qualms with this. And so there are just these moments of, I just need Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. I just need some Cinderella. And I just need a book that I can read in one sitting without losing a whole day or losing sleep, and that book exists. And I am here to recommend it to you because life can be a lot. It can be hard to find meaning in some of the things you do, especially when you do the same things. That's what I was trying to say earlier. That's the point I was trying to get to. When you do the same things every single day, it can be really hard to find meaning in those things because in your head, you know that they have meaning. You know they serve a purpose. But when you do them so much, it can be really hard to see that. And personally, the biggest thing that has been showing itself in is my YouTube channel. I've been doing it for over 3 years now. Almost 3.5 years. I have been putting out videos on a consistent basis. And I know that I don't do them even weekly or bi-weekly like all the really big people do because I have a full-time job and I have lots of other things that I do with my time. But every 2 weeks, every other Wednesday, there have been very few instances where I've missed. A video will come up. In my head, I was like, okay, what would make it have meaning? Because I talk about how it's just a fun place for me to talk about books. I'm like, yes, that's true. It's very true because I love talking about books and I love getting to bring you books that I love and have even recommended to people, but like I would love for more people to see these books and read these books and find the same enjoyment out of them that I have gotten. But it's really difficult when I barely get to double digits on views for my videos. That's really hard. And I do have, I think, over 10 videos that have over 100 views, which is very cool. But that is a number I would like to be hitting consistently. And I'm not necessarily making any changes to make that happen. My biggest thing is I know I could talk about more popular books and that would get me more views. The problem is multiple things. One, I haven't necessarily read all the most popular books. Two, maybe I've read them and didn't like them. Three, one of the, I would say, honestly, biggest issues with the most popular books today is that they're not clean. Now, I'm not claiming to be perfect and say that I've never read an unclean book, because I totally have, and there are some very good ones, but I'm also not going to recommend them on this channel. This is going to be only clean reads, only emotionally safe reads, and a lot of the most popular books now, they're not clean. And so I'm not going to recommend them. At least for now, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is recommending these books that you maybe never would have found on your own. Because what's so great about, especially like this, there's a whole bunch of books in the like Pride and Prejudice AU realm. They're Pride and Prejudice and there's a bunch of them. But I'm pretty sure they're all on like Kindle Unlimited or they're super cheap on Kindle. So you don't even need to physically go buy this book. You can get it for like a couple of dollars on Kindle. And like, that's super awesome. And then, supporting the author and stuff, that's great too. But I'm going to keep recommending these books. I'm going to keep being true to myself in terms of the books that I do recommend. Because even though I know that means I inherently have a much smaller audience, which in turn means I will always have low views, always have a low subscription count. And like, that's fine because that's never been the goal. But it's hard to reconcile these two things of super low views, super low subscriptions, very little engagement with still staying true to who I am and still picking the books that I want to talk about, picking the books that I genuinely want to recommend and not talking about books because I feel like I have to, or recommending books because like that's what's popular. Because like I've definitely read some books that I'm like, these would probably get more views, but like I didn't like them very much. They weren't my cup of tea. And I don't want to sit here and talk about books that I don't like. Because I want to sit here and I want to talk about books that I want you to read, not books I don't want you to read. So that was just like a long rant about all the things that have been on my mind, but I wanted to be at least semi, cultural whatever with Bridgerton and Cinderella. We got that. That's great. But also just how I've been struggling. And I do really like this channel. And the thing is, I like the end result of my content, but I hate filming. I hate editing. I hate all the steps leading up to the actual post, but I love being able to look through my catalog of all these things that I've talked about. I love getting to see all of this hours, really. At this point, it's hours and hours of content that I have created that exists in the world. And like, that's so cool. And I'm so proud of myself, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we go from here. But for now, we're going to keep talking about books. We're going to keep recommending things. And I hope for as long as that happens, that you will stick around, that you will like, comment, and subscribe. Share, that would be really cool. Share this video with people that you think would enjoy it, would enjoy my ranting and ramblings. Maybe start with the ones that have lots of views, because obviously those are the ones people have liked the most, at least in terms of sharing. Goodness. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. It really genuinely means a lot to me. those 10 viewers, even though I know of those 10 viewers, they don't all make it to the end, and that's okay. We're here just to talk about books, and here to give you the reads that you need when your heart feels heavy, when life feels like a lot, and you watched a really good show and you need more of it, but you don't know where to turn. Okay, so with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, 再见. Bye.